Ethan sat in the quiet glow of his laptop screen, surrounded by unpaid bills and the sound of his old refrigerator humming in the corner. Life hadn't been kind lately. He had lost his job, his savings were shrinking fast, and the only dream he still clung to was his small YouTube channel. For 2 years he had poured his heart into videos, hoping his stories might reach people who needed them, but his subscriber count stalled at just over 300. Every view felt like a miracle, but also a reminder of how far he was from making an impact. One night, scrolling through endless videos on how to grow a channel, he stumbled across something different, a title that read, YouTube Mastery Course, Secrets to Make Your Videos Go Viral. It didn't look flashy, in fact, it looked genuine. A man with kind eyes stood in front of a chalkboard, speaking simply, without gimmicks. Ethan hesitated, torn between disbelief and hope. But when the speaker said, "Your words have the power to touch lives far beyond what you can see. YouTube is just the bridge," Ethan felt something shift inside him. Maybe this wasn't about fame. Maybe it was about purpose. With renewed determination, he decided to follow the advice step by step, unaware that this decision would not just revive his dream, but would set into motion a chain of kindness that would ripple far beyond the walls of his small apartment. Ethan began applying the lessons from the YouTube Mastery Course with a mix of skepticism and quiet faith. Instead of chasing trends or copying what others were doing, he learned to speak directly from the heart, to share stories of resilience and kindness that reflected the struggles he knew too well. He crafted thumbnails with care, wrote titles that promised hope rather than hype, and for the first time, scheduled his uploads with consistency. Slowly, something unexpected began to happen. A video about how he stayed positive during unemployment reached 1,000 views in a week, numbers that once felt impossible. Comments trickled in from strangers across the country, some saying his words helped them through depression, others thanking him for reminding them they weren't alone. One young viewer even wrote, "I was about to give up, but your video gave me the courage to try again." Ethan stared at that comment for a long time, realizing his voice was no longer lost in the void, it was being heard. And more importantly, it was making a difference. For the first time, his channel wasn't just about him chasing a dream of going viral. It was about building a bridge of encouragement for people who needed hope just as much as he once did. Yet, Ethan had no idea that the biggest impact of his efforts was still waiting on the horizon. An encounter that would test his compassion and prove that sometimes the true measure of success isn't in numbers, but in the lives we touch along the way. One evening, as Ethan live-streamed a Q&A for his small but growing community, a quiet message appeared in the chat, "I don't think I can keep going anymore." The username belonged to a teenager named Liam, who had been commenting regularly on Ethan's videos for weeks. His usual words of encouragement were gone, replaced with despair. Ethan's heart skipped. The chat scrolled quickly, but he paused everything, his voice trembling as he said, "Liam, if you can hear me, please know your life matters more than you realize. I know what it's like to feel invisible, but you are not alone tonight." The live stream went silent for a moment, and viewers began flooding the chat with kindness, leaving words like, "Stay strong, we're here for you," and, "You are loved." Ethan stayed online for hours, listening, reassuring, and sharing his own scars of loneliness and struggle. By the end of the night, Liam typed back, "Thank you. I feel like I can breathe again. I'll try one more day." Tears blurred Ethan's eyes as he closed the stream, realizing this was the true power of the platform he once doubted. It wasn't about algorithms or going viral, it was about showing up for people at the exact moment they needed it most. That night, in his small apartment, with nothing but an old laptop and a shaky internet connection, Ethan felt richer than he ever had in his life. His channel was no longer just a dream, it had become a lifeline. Weeks later, Ethan logged back into his channel to find something that left him speechless. Liam had posted a video of his own, thanking Ethan and the community for saving his life that night. The video wasn't polished, it wasn't scripted, but it was raw and real. "One man's kindness," Liam said through teary eyes, "kept me here long enough to believe I had a future." Within days, the video spread, drawing people to Ethan's channel not because of flashy tricks, but because of the authenticity that shone through. His subscriber count skyrocketed, but for the first time, the numbers didn't matter. What mattered was the faces, the names, the stories of people whose hearts were being lifted because he dared to be real. When Ethan reflected on how it all began, with a single course titled YouTube Mastery Course, Secrets to Make Your Videos Go Viral, he smiled at the irony. Yes, his channel had grown, yes, he had achieved what once felt impossible, but the real secret wasn't about views or algorithms at all. It was about kindness, compassion, and the courage to share hope when it felt like you had none left to give. Ethan leaned back in his chair, looking around his tiny apartment with gratitude. He no longer measured success by his struggles, but by the lives he touched. And in that realization, he knew something the world often forgets: when you pour light into others, you'll never be left in the dark yourself.